Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bazaar Explained, and today we are playing Vanessa. Vanessa has had some pretty interesting items from the new expansion, one being the captain's quarters that we can see pictured here, and I'm interested to see if we can try and utilize those items here today. Now, I think getting income is always very consistent, but on Vanessa, I've been liking getting a gold tier skill start, so let's go there. Now we see Final Dose, Keen Eye, and Deadly Eye, so two crit chance options which are generally very good on Vanessa, but I also like taking Final Dose here just because it's going to allow us to hopefully win our earlier fights more easily. And now there's a lot of good poison items that are small, so why don't we go to Andy and see if we can find one of them. We don't find a poison item here, but we do find seaweed, so I will take that. Let's reroll here and see if we can get that poison item. Nice, we find the catfish. That's perfect. I don't think I want to take this piranha, so let's save our gold and keep moving forward. Okay, now that we have this poison and this seaweed, we have that final dose skill again, so let's go to the Viper. The Viper, they have this nice skill that poisons at the start of each fight, but I really want to get this Toxic Fang here. If we were able to get a Toxic Fang and we could utilize that to potentially kind of go the distance, as it were, it has a 3-second cooldown, so if we put some final dose onto that, it would be proccing at least 7 poison damage every 3 seconds, or stacking that up, and that sounds strong to me, so let's see if we get it. Okay, we get an extract, which is still pretty nice. That'll probably end up putting that on our catfish. And because we have these aquatic items, I'm less interested in getting weapons, but let's go to Finn's Big Bite and get us some regeneration. I could have put more HP on our seaweed, but I don't think that's very necessary at this point. And okay, now could get some money, could go to the Lost Crate, or maybe even get a medium item, and I'm inclined to see if we can find a medium item we like. Okay, very nice. We see the fishing rod. Beach ball is also pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead and take this fishing rod, and I'm even going to put it on our board. Like so. And you know what? Let's sell the extract too. Okay, let's keep on going. So this is a pretty nice start here as we fight this Mac. The fishing rod is going to haste our fish, and from there it will be doing even further poison stacking, as when it gets haste, it gets +2 poison. So I'm feeling pretty good here. Also, that'll just proc our seaweed to grow even further. So I feel pretty good here. Let's see, this Mac has a magic carpet, which the letter opener is synergizing very well with, but we're putting on so much poison on them that we're in a pretty good position for this fight when we get there. This magic carpet item also has been impressive to me recently. I feel like there's a lot of room to explore on Mac to optimize this, including a letter opener, so I appreciate the opponent here pointing out that synergy. I'll keep that in the back of my head for next time we play Mac. And okay, you know, getting a haste item could be awesome. And what do we get from our fishing rod? We got coral, okay, not terrible. But I also like going to the tiny furry monster here in XP maxing. This haste item could be really anything that has the haste property to it, and I think most of them are good for us, but at this point, I think it's just safer to get the XP. Now we've leveled up, another poison skill would be good. There's a poison skill. Do we take that? Crit chance is pretty good. Yeah, I'll just not be greedy here, I'll take the poison skill. There's an argument for re-rolling there as well, but I don't think we need to do that. We can put our coral on board. And you know what? I'm going to take 3 bronze tier chocolates right here. It's not important that we have these, but it can facilitate getting some more gold in the later days. I feel like we could probably defeat the rogue scrapper with these items here, so let's give that a fight. The rogue scrapper does a fixed amount of damage here that we can calculate pretty easily, and they also have this Gearnola, which is their only source of shielding, so we know that they are going to have essentially a maximum of 510 health, was it, I believe, or 500 or 480. And then they also are healing every 8 seconds for 60, but our catfish is just putting on too much poison for them to handle here. Very nice. Let's see if we can get this rust skill, or maybe even junkyard repair bot. Okay, we get junkyard club. That's okay. And now we're going to guarantee level up this day because we took the tiny furry monster. So we have 3 points on our board that we need to fill. And that makes me want to go to Kina here. So let's do that and see if we can buy some items for our board. Okay. I like this cove here. Let's pick up the cove. And we can go ahead and sell these chocolates. I suppose I could have been a little more patient there. I didn't need to sell those right away. But I do see this jellyfish here. This fishing net's also not bad. It's not great either. I definitely will take this jellyfish. And now the question is, if I buy the fishing net, I think what I'm going to do here is reroll and see if we can get a bronze tier item just like this barrel. I'll sell my club, I'll buy the barrel, I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, so what do we have here? Could get a friend. Don't have any money. Could go to the strange mushroom. I do kind of like getting a friend because there are some new items that synergize with friends from Vanessa that I'd like to try. So if we do come across them, it would be nice to have. But you know, the strange mushroom, it has getting 4 gold, and I think that could be pretty valuable for us in the coming days. Alright, so we could gain 2 gold, gain a bronze tier aquatic item, which we know is worth 1 gold. And yeah, I'm going to take the loot here. This is going to represent 3 gold overall, and that is certainly more than 1 gold. Okay, let's optimize our board here. So our fastest items are coral reef and fishing rod. Really, our catfish is actually going to be the fastest. So something like this seems pretty good. And yeah, this doesn't seem bad either. I want to, I think, keep the final dose on the catfish just because we're going to be hasting that guaranteed. The jellyfish itself will be self-hasted, but I think with our cooldowns, the catfish is going to be going off more. Let's remember to check that after this fight.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on the ladder.
Okay, let's see what they have here for us. Shielded bayonet, revolver, hand axe, Langshen, and Jitte. They have 10 crit chance on all their items. Alright, so certainly this Langshen is scary, especially if it crits. So we'll see if that happens first. It does not. Okay, feeling much better about this situation now. The seaweed and the barrel are going to make up for a lot of life we could have lost, and that catfish is obviously doing pretty good things for us. Yeah, let's recap here. Okay, yeah, our jellyfish went off 2 times, our catfish went off 3 times, so I think we have our items in the right place for now. Okay, day 3. Could gain some spare change. That's effectively each bronze tier spare change is plus 1 value for our cove and then whatever it's worth. I don't need to buy anything right now, and JJ has a whole smattering of items, so not too concerned about going to JJ. I also sort of like trying to high roll a skill here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what we have here. Get a skill. Okay, let's get some fire damage here. We do have that cinders in our backpack as well, so a fire damage item, sort of like a Zorsid, I think could be really nice. That being said, I am going to go and take some chocolate bars here. I'm going to get some silver tier chocolates as well. This, if I didn't have the cove, I'd be less inclined and maybe want to go to Andy, but I think just the fact that we paid essentially that 5 gold that we purchased those silver tier chocolates for, each one is adding 1 value to the cove here, which we're inevitably going to sell, so they kind of paid for themselves. And you know, Street Gamer has an interesting skill, but we know the deal. Let's continue to get experience and try and pull ahead. Because we took that tiny furry monster now, every time that we are defeating the strongest enemy in the next couple days, we can guarantee that we're leveling up. So I would like to continue to do so to maintain kind of a track of being on par or at least ahead of maybe our opponents that we're facing. And then every XP that we gain from here is just going to be bigger and bigger gain. And 88 poison on day 3 at the 20-second mark. Nothing to scoff at. Okay. We get weak point detector. Probably not something we're using, but it's something we'll certainly sell more than likely. Now, Artisan Dunes, I could bump up our catfish, but we have some spots on our board that we're going to need to fill here by the next day, so let's go to Kina. Alright, some really great additions here. Definitely going to take the seaweed. I would also like the Yeti crab, I believe. And I would definitely like the volcanic vents. So I know I can take the volcanic vents. Let's think about this Yeti crab. It would be scaling our catfish. And we would potentially be putting our jellyfish in a bad position. I think I'm taking this coral off the board, or maybe even the barrel. Yeah. Well, let's put this here. Can sell our cinders. That will sell the weak point detector. And I will take this Yeti crab. Let's keep on going. Okay, upgrade a bronze tier item. So I'd like my volcanic vents on board. And I think after all that talking, this Yeti crab will do well in between these two. I'll be adding 2 poison. It's kind of a compromised position for our jellyfish, though, and we certainly want our seaweed on board. Yeah, this is looking fine to me. Let's put our coral next to our jellyfish. And we still want to continue to haste our catfish, so this is sounding good. We could look for maybe another flame skill, or burn skill, or poison skill. I do also like upgrading the fishing rod from this position. It's going to generate silver tier items, which are worth a little bit more to sell, which sounds nice to me. And also, these silver tier items could synergize with our board pretty well. And okay, we see medium items. I have some pretty good medium items already. Why don't we just get a small non-weapon item? Lighter. Okay, it's pretty good. I don't think it's going to be better than all of our volcanic vents. The lighter itself, it is silver tier, which is nice. So just playing around here. So it's going to burn for, yeah. The volcanic vents is going to burn 15 every 7 seconds, and the lighter on the board is going to burn for, let's see, 4, 2, there you go, 8 burn every 6 seconds. Yeah, good with our volcanic vents. Okay, let's fight this Vanessa.
I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
What do they have? A katana, 1.5 seconds katana. Oh, I see they have a silencer. Doesn't look like they have any way to scale the damage here though, but it is certainly chunking our health. It also has a 9% crit chance, which is scary. Yeah, I think we'll be able to out-heal and shield this though, just because it's not gaining any source of additional damage on it. Yeah, we're poisoning them pretty nicely here. They had some pretty good skills too. Deadly Eye, Strength, Keen Eye. So their build's gonna look pretty nice here soon enough. They look to be in between builds as well. They have kind of half an aquatic build and half a weapon build, so they're still on a good track for a weapon build. Okay, day 4. I have the option to get some spare change. No, hey, Clamora, I'll take it. Do we want to get spare change? Could go for another skill. Yeah. 3 spare change represents a minimum of 6. But getting a skill could be even more impactful. And hey, we get an improved toxins. Pretty nice. Okay, now Let's go for that same play again. Do I want this barrel? I don't think so. Let's go to chocolates. Let's continue to get some silver tier chocolates. And we can fight a Hexa. Hexa may certainly destroy some of our items, but I think the amount of poisoning that we're going to put onto them is going to outscale any of the poisoning that they're going to put onto us. The scariest item I think they have is the solar farm, because it's adding 6 regeneration to them every time it goes off. But also the Hexa killed one of our own viruses, which this item can do. And I'm feeling pretty good about where we are. Notably, they killed our catfish, but we have a lot of poison on burn on them, so feel good. Alright, victory for us. Game nitro. Sounds good to me.
This is how you win a war.
Okay, we've leveled up. Static acceleration is actually kind of interesting here. We know we're going to want to haste this catfish, and our jellyfish procs this haste clause here, so it is going to synergize nicely. It's not going to gain a ton of crit chance for us, but it's going to introduce the first instances of crit, which I think is pretty good. And gain 2 income, well, got a lot of days to go. Let's do it. Love increasing our income here. And we don't have anything to work at the docks with, so I'm gonna go to Andy and see if we can get some upgrades. I don't really want any of these weapons, so let's reroll. Mantis shrimp is interesting. It does need ammo itself. I haven't been too impressed with the mantis shrimp, I'll be honest, but it is a very real source of scaling if we get a lot of slow items. And just because if we want to sell it, it'll essentially pay for itself, because we'll buy it for 2, it'll sell for 1, and then that will give our cove +1 value. I'm going to speculate off a mantis shrimp. And just thinking about that line too, I will buy this piranha and I will sell the piranha. It'll give our coral a little bit more healing, which I think is not great, but it's fine. +3 healing, not the worst. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, another Vanessa. Let's fight him.
My fight isn't with you.
We haven't really added a lot of power to our board, but I still feel like we're in a decently strong position, especially having gotten so much max HP. We seem to be a full 2 levels, or not 1 level up on them. Now, they do have a flagship, but no way to haste it, and no way to scale the damage, although it does have 55 crit chance, which is scary. But with the amount of max HP we have in our seaweed, I think we're going to be doing just fine here. Yeah, 80 poison on them feels pretty good. Invulnerability potion, very strong item. Okay. Nice day 4 win. Got a kind of a bread and butter aquatic build here. We will need to eventually transition out of this into something more powerful, but this is going to get us pretty far in the Bazaar. Now we could look at shield items. I think I would like to go to the mountain pass. We're doing very well on economy, and we're also doing pretty well on experience, but I think because we're in our damage over time build, this is kind of the perfect time to try and maximize on getting even more XP to increase our HP. So let's go for a fight. We don't get a fight, but we get +1 XP, so that's still pretty good. And then hey, Kina could have some upgrades. Another 5 regen would be good. We're getting to the point where this is going to matter less and less. So let's go to Kina. Okay, pufferfish. I do like a pufferfish. And we're not procking it tremendously right now, but I will take it. I don't know that I'm ready to add it to our board. Let's reroll here too, see what we see. Okay, powder flask. Did get this mantis shrimp, so that is a consideration. I'm still not seeing the mantis shrimp being a more powerful addition to our board, so I think I'm willing to move past this. We're not really putting enough crit chance on our board to utilize a sextant efficiently. So I think I'm good to move on here. Okay, we see Mod Squad. I feel confident we could beat them with this board. But do I want to add Pufferfish? Pufferfish is very good with the jellyfish. But I don't know that it's going to do a tremendous amount of work for us. Our coral is something that I'm happy to take off. Truly, our Yeti crab, I think, is something I'm happy to take off as well. I don't know. These are contributing, certainly, to our board. Seashell and seaweed are also very good. And the coral and Yeti crab do proc our seaweed. But I think with this pufferfish on board, let's see, every time it goes off, it's going to haste this. So the catfish, we're hasting here. I do want to try this. I think this could be a better source of poisoning overall. And I'm not going to sell these items just yet because we could end up wanting them. Additionally, we could maybe even take the volcanic vents off and put them back on just because we're not scaling burn that much on our opponents. But let's use this as a little experiment here. Again, I feel like we can take on the mod squad either way, although I did take some defensive items off our board. I think this is the perfect opportunity to just look at how bazaar.gg and see if the mod squad is going to do anything scary. So they have 1200 health. Bulldozer is really the thing we would worry about here, and it gains 10 damage for the fight every time that they use a friend. And it's hard to calculate exactly how many times they're going to use a friend, but let's just take this 10% clause out for the ease of ourselves. And I don't remember how it's set up on board, but we can see how many times at a minimum they're going to be using their items. So Aiden will go off 4 times in 30 seconds. That would mean 4 divided by 30 is, what is that, 6, 12, 28? Somewhere around 6 times, 12, 24. No, that's exactly 5 times. That's an easy calculation. So that's going off 5 times. And then this is also going off 5 times. Why can't I do math? This is going off 6 times, 7 times, 6.5, somewhere around 6 to 7 times. Let's just say 6. And I'll keep moving from there. So 6, 11. This will probably be pretty consistently hasted after 4 seconds, but let's just assume that it's about half because it's pretty much constantly hasted. So 4.5. So another 6, 7, 12. So running pretty good amount from Bulldozer, but I think we'll be able to deal more poison damage to them in that time. That was a pretty terrible way to try and calculate all that. I don't think I got very far. I think I just gave up about halfway through, but regardless, I think I saw what I needed to see in saying that I'm pretty sure that we can defeat this mod squad here. Their skill would also be kind of nice for us. When you use a friend, your weapons gain 3 damage. Let's look to see how our board's performing. So the pufferfish is going off a decent amount of times. We certainly put more poison on them. And they ended up with a 165 at the 20-second mark, where we were doing about half that before. That feels pretty powerful. So the puffer went off 4, jelly 4, catfish 5. Not bad, not great. This did 35 damage. This did 35 damage. I want to look at the fire damage calculator real quick. Let's put this in. So it was going to do a total of 630 damage. Oh, that's pretty nice. Let's keep that around. Okay. Crypto, take that. And starting at 4. Okay, we could gain 4 here, but getting a silver tier loot is effectively like gaining 5 gold for us. So let's sell nitro and let's gain the loot. Wow, vial of blood. Experience, we'll take it. Okay, I have a good amount of money here. Don't need to sell the vile blood just yet. Why don't we go to JJ and see what we can find? Okay, old Saltclaw. When you haste or slow, this gains plus 10 damage for the fight. That could be a pretty nice friend. I'm willing to speculate on that. I also see a silencer. It's kind of a lot of gold. Ooh, crypto coming through. I'll sell that. And I'll sell the vile blood now. I think this could be a pretty interesting combination. Yeah, I'm willing to take that. Could be a fun build. And, okay, see a Luceray. It's another friend. See Submersible here too, pretty good. Being that it's a bronze Luceray, I'm a little less inclined to take it. Although, I think I could situate it on our board so that we'd be proccing our jellyfish more, which would be very nice. So, yeah, let's sell some things here. I think we're good on the mantis shrimp and the narwhal. But I will take this Luceray. And how would we want to adjust our board? Could do something like this. And maybe this. You know, the volcanic vents is doing a lot. But I think slowing could be very good too. And I don't know that it's just the time yet for old Saltclaw. But I guess they could maybe go in place of our seashell. Although the seashell is shielding for 80, which is a good amount. And we're putting a lot of slow and haste on our board now, so I feel like the Saltclaw is going to get pretty big. Let's try it out. Okay, now I could go to Andy or just maximize on XP. If it is a 2 XP fight, we're not going to level up, but if it is greater than that, it should be in a pretty good place. Although Andy does have some potential upgrades for our board. I think it's best not to try and miss a fight if we can take a fight. And it is only a 2 XP fight, but we could get something like rocket boots, which could be very good for us. Even shaded cloak, I think, could be very good for us too. No, I've never seen that in animation. The old Saltclaw getting in with the claw. That was pretty cool. Just giving them the claw. Give them the business, man. Love to see it. All this said, it looks like we've certainly taken off a good amount of defenses from our board, which is maybe not a strong idea. And oh wow, get the shadow cloak. Okay, let's make room for that. Coral, nice knowing you. And oh, can't close this. Interesting. There we go. Let's take the shadow cloak. So now that we have the shadowed cloak, we could do this. It's going to be going off. It would be permanently hasted, this catfish. That seems pretty good. I do like that. And if it's permanently hasted, do we want to do something like this? That would proc some more haste. And the Luceray on the right. I think this might be stronger. Yeah. And I realize we're going to need one space here. We'll sell this volcanic vents. It hurts to do, but let's do it.
My fight isn't with you, but if you insist.
Okay, a Pygmalion. They're a shield build. We could be in a good place, but that is certainly not what they're doing. They are a square pig build. I can breathe a little sigh of relief seeing this Atlatl much smaller, but this Regal Blade is pretty scary. That said, it doesn't have crit on it. So we'll see where the slows land. We're getting into pretty dangerous territory here. Yeah, and they just chunk right through us. Okay, well, what we also saw there was that our catfish, although getting permanently hasted, wasn't really keeping up with the hasting that we needed for our pufferfish to keep going consistently. So I'm thinking that we might want to change up some things. Also, the Saltclaw wasn't too impressive, but these are all things that we can improve. Now, what would we like to upgrade? You know, also the Shadow Cloak and the Silencer mean that we have a pretty effective one weapon build in our backpack. So something to look out for, maybe like a submersible would be pretty good. And I'm also wondering if we put the seashell back on board. I think that would have actually saved us, so I'm sorry, seashell, for ever doubting you. Okay. Back to what we upgrade. I don't know that I want to upgrade the jellyfish. I think it may just be fishing rod. I am getting to the point where I need to start doing better, and thus maybe it is like seaweed. I think that gained plus 15 scaling. I really want upgrades for like all of these items, and we haven't seen a lot of B1, B2s, so it's been tough. But that being said, the fishing rod could generate some gold tier aquatic items that could really change the nature of our build, and they could even give us like a golden catfish or jellyfish, so let's do that. Okay, what do we get? We got gold seaweed. Okay, exactly what I was talking about. Now, the fact that both of these seaweeds are going off at 7 seconds is actually kind of detrimental. Means that we might be overhealing for no reason. You would kind of want them to be a little bit staggered. We don't have a way to really facilitate that staggered right now, so not much to be done there. Let's put the cloak back on board. And I will take a chance here on this mysterious portal. Oh, some diamond tier items. Okay. So because we're seeing diamond tier items, is there anything that we want to sell so that we could potentially see a diamond tier version of it? Yes. However, most of those items we kind of want on our board too. Also just seeing this Saltclaw, Shadow Cloak, Silencer Life. Maybe that's something to explore, but if anything, I'd be willing to sell off this Yeti crab, but I guess it isn't really what I'd want to see from the diamond tier vendor. So I think let's go there, but it's a good mental exercise nonetheless. Wow, shiny Vanessa's amulet. This item has double crit chance bonus. That's kind of insane. Yeah, I believe that will be 80 crit chance. Let's look that up. Vanessa's amulet. Yeah, so it has 40, and then it'd be 80. Yeah, no, that seems crazy. Okay. Let's sell some things. Seashell we talked about. Sorry, buddy. We're selling the seashell. We're selling the cove. We are picking up this crazy amulet. And I am going to roll here. I think that there's some upgrades that we could find. Wow. Sea Shadow. You know, I've tried this item, and I think it is okay. It's hard to know how effective it is on your board. That being said, I don't want to pay $32 for it, so we can move on. This dam is also good, but it could end up hurting us more than it's helping us. And yeah, we could just put this thing on board, and that's gonna do a lot of good for us. I think this may sound kind of crazy, but just stay with me for a moment. And then we could put this. So our items have 80% crit chance, which is crazy. And this old Saltclaw is going to be going off pretty quickly. That could be really cool. Okay. We don't have a cove, but we have some money. I'd be willing to look at some medium items.
What can I get you?
There's Sea Shadow, there's a shovel. Let's roll. Okay, nothing for us. But could have had something for us. And now I'm pretty uncertain about how effective this build is going to be, but I do want to try it. I do think it's powerful enough to defeat the foreman, but also I would like to see if it is something, there's something worth more for us from the dire mosquito. When you slow haste a weapon 1 second, that certainly seems good. And the 4 men, if we got maybe like a captain's wheel, the flashy mechanic is good, but I think the dire mosquito is worth going to. I don't know that we beat the lich, so let's go for the dire mosquito. And let's see this in action. Is this as powerful as I think it is? And that instant slow is gonna buff the Saltclaw up. It's doing a good amount of damage here. Well, 382. Yeah, I think we're doing more damage like this than we were with our poison. So let's keep on this train. And oh yes, yes. Paralyzing Rush. This is perfect. So Paralyzing Rush, very cool with Clamora. So at the start of the fight, we're going to slow 2 items, and that's then going to slow or haste our Saltclaw. Yeah, that seems good. Sick. Okay. Now, is there a tool we want to add to our board? We just want to be hasting and slowing now, so we don't need these friends as much as we did before, although this illusory is looking nice. A tool could look like a captain's wheel, but we don't have a big item on board, a large item to facilitate the captain's wheel being any faster. Captain's wheel would also kind of replace the shadow cloak, so maybe that's not what we're looking for. I can't think of a tool that would really help us right now. Although maybe like a buckler, although I think that's apparel. The belt buckle, whatever it might be. Yeah, let's get a haste item. Wow. Well, that's pretty good. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Oh man, this is so sick. Okay, so let's put this on our board. And let's try and facilitate this. Okay, so Sea Dog Saloon, it says it hastes 1 item for 2 seconds and slows 1 item for 2 seconds, but for each friend, it has +1 multicast. So this is going to proc the hell out of our Saltclaw. And every time we slow, it's going to guaranteed haste the Saltclaw. I do dislike taking the seaweed off the board, but I think this is just kind of crazy good. Okay. Wow. And now we could give our Saltclaw crit chance. I don't think I want to do that. I think we have a very strong build. Let's go get some max HP. We could even put the seaweed back on board. That genuinely might keep us alive a little longer in case this Vanessa is some sort of weapon build. And maybe they're like a 1-weapon build. I'm also realizing that pufferfish is a friend. Would that be more effective? Sea Dog Saloon would give a tremendous amount of haste, but I think the damage we're generating with Old Saltclaw is going to be more damage over time, or more damage more quickly than the damage over time we do with the pufferfish. So let's do this. Also, you know, thinking about this, it's kind of a risk, but I want to try it like this. The silencer might be the right play, just because our main damage source is the Saltclaw. But I do think having seaweed could be very good for us. What do they have? Water wheel, vents, Zorcid, catfish. Okay. Their catfish is going to be scary, but they don't have any way to heal, so I think we're going to start chomping them. Yeah, this guy's grown so much. Oh my goodness. Okay. The old Saltclaw coming for you. Wow. We didn't really need our seaweed there. It's pretty good. Okay, well, could get a weapon skill. Let's look at gold tier skills. Increased crit chance. That seems like guaranteed crit on our Saltclaw. This is also just an absolutely obscene skill. Retaliatory toxins when your enemy uses an item poison 1. That said, guaranteed crit on our Saltclaw seems like what I want to do. And I will take this opportunity to put the silencer back and do this. Seems good. Okay. Yeah, this, oh, let's maximize a little bit. Let's do this, okay. This is turning out to be pretty cool. Let's go to Andy, could have some upgrades for us. Doesn't look like these are any upgrades. Then there's shot glasses. Not really what I want. Here's a Sorcid. Yeah, not what I want either. Okay. And Mountain Pass seems good. Let's go for a fight here. Infernal Frigate. I think we can take it down. Let's see. The silencer, yeah, is doing some pretty good things for us, I believe. That's just so much damage. That's so many procs. This guy's going crazy. And old Saltclaw. Who would have thought?
It's over already. We barely got our flag.
Okay, incendiary rounds, it's whatever. And now I feel like we could defeat the shock trooper pretty handily. Don't need to sell anything just yet. Is there a world where we put Shadow Cloak back on board? I don't think so. So let's fight them. And we got a gold. We got a little pearl here. It's pretty nice. Let's sell these incendiary rounds. You never know when you're going to need space in your backpack, I suppose. Which is kind of untrue because you normally do know. But besides the point. If we could put slow on this or haste on the Saltclaw too, that'd get pretty crazy. But I think we would want to put shielding or restorative on it more than anything else. Yeah, that seems pretty nice.
See that plank?
You know, I'm also realizing potentially the right eye is unnecessary now that we have the static with the static acceleration skill, but that's okay. More incendiary rounds, sweet.
Ride that tide!
Okay, let's gain some loot. Now we'll sell these again. Let's see what we get. Medkit, okay. Alright. Because I'm so strong, I kind of want to just get chocolates. Because I think our damage is very good. It's just our survivability is not. It's kind of unoptimal that we even have this jellyfish and catfish on board as our friends. We would rather much rather have defensive friends here. That being said, I guess we could try and find some defensive friends, but I don't know that we're gonna find small defensive friends. I'm trying to think of ones that there could be. I guess there's Yeti Crab, which we sold off because we were brazen like that. And I think we can actually go to this bazaar.gg and we can go to filters, can click Vanessa, and then we can click friends. Where's friend? And see what they have. Calico's not what we want. No, we'd love another Illusoray, but I'd want a non-weapon. Okay, Mr. Richardson would actually be perfect. We have the Saltclaw. Julian, maybe not. So it's looking like it's just Yeti Crab and Mr. Richardson. Yeah, I'm willing to go and see what they have. Alright, well there's a tropical island. I'm willing to make some space for that. Can sell these off. I think I can also sell the seaweed off. So by the tropical island, we are consistently critting now, so this would be another source of haste. Is that better than Sea Dog Saloon? I don't think so. I think, if anything, even if it was hasting more consistently, just this amount of slow is very good. So let's reroll. Okay, dive weights. Again, we have the haste part covered, I feel. So let's keep moving. And we could gain a tool. We'll have to look at tools here. Yeah, let's take a look at a tool. I don't need to re-roll through this very much, but can't even get a shovel. Some citrus. The kind of backpack's getting a little crowded. And I don't know that I need to spend more gold here. Silencer's not a tool. We kind of want friends or things that synergize even better with this amulet. You know, the Saltclaw and the Sea Dog Saloon is strong, but it may not be 10 wins strong. That being said, is there anything that I would like to replace? I guess we could put the wheel on board. This is already pretty consistently hasted, so let's see dock lines here. Dock lines is very good. But yeah, let's keep going. If anything else, if not for anything, this build is very fun, so I would like to keep doing the Sea Dog Saloon stuff. And I know when we upgrade it, it goes down in cooldown, which would be a very big game for us too. So we see Vanessa here who's trying to maximize on artillery spotter. Okay, so they're really trying to utilize and haste their catfish. It's not guaranteed that they crit with any other items. I think they're just gonna get hit with the big claw. That's what it looks like to me.
Like my crew says at the bar. Another
They were
round.
shielding a pretty considerable amount. So that was scarier than it looked, and our poison damage did prove to be very effective, but I think we can make our board more powerful. Okay. Can sell this coconut, this narwhal, and yeah, let's see, we're still good, so I don't need to get rid of it just yet. And yeah, let's go to Tox Clocks. Okay, well, I mean, Lighthouse synergizes well with slowing, but I think that we would just be making our build worse if we did that. Figurehead, here's Sea Shadow again. That is a friend, notably. What would we take off? The Clamora. I guess we'd take off Jellyfish and Catfish. But that'd be less friends for our Sea Dog Saloon. I'm also understanding now it's not super important that the Clamora even procs the haste on the old Saltclaw, because it going off early doesn't matter too much. It's more so the once it's actually getting more damage, that'd be good. I'm thinking about that. I think, willing to try this Sea Shadow. Again, Pufferfish might be even better here now that I'm thinking about that. We could do something like this. I'm willing to do something like that. If we don't like that, I'll put the Sea Shadow in and see how that looks. This is kind of uncharted territory for me, so I'm willing to play around and see what looks good. And here, what would we want to do? An upgrade to our old Saltclaw would be good. We could honestly even find a better item than old Saltclaw as well. But I would kind of ideally want these chocolates to facilitate that. Just buy and sell the Sea Shadow. That doesn't feel good at all. And we are also losing... I don't think we're losing a tropical island, actually. Either way, I think I'm willing to sell this catfish. And I would be willing to sell the Sea Shadow just for some more max HP. It's like 90. Let's go weapons, all that said. It could be even more powerful, potentially. Those are not it. And those aren't either. Okay. We tried. And Burninator Bot. Yeah, let's go for Burninator Bot. There's also something to be said for going to the Oasis Guardian because they have the femur and we're doing a lot of slowing. But we'd also have to kind of give up a lot of board space to facilitate that. Yeah, that does seem to be pretty good. The pufferfish is, I think, just better. It's a lot more poisoning, and I'm wondering if we actually should move this a little bit. Thermal lance. Okay, so I feel confident selling the sea shadow. Citrus can go. Let's take the thermal lance. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's restart our game real quick. Okay, we should be able to take this now. Nice. Okay, we have our upgrade. And I'm not going to play around with it. I'm just going to go ahead and put the shielding on the old Saltclaw. I think this generating some sort of defense for us will be very good. Okay. So we can sell this thermal lance, although it is nice with our items. And so I was thinking we could do something like this, where we would want the final dose on our pufferfish. Can we facilitate better board than that? I think we can. No, it has to be to the left. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're sacrificing some final dose value here for sure, which is the unfortunate part. I'm trying to conceptualize a board where we could be having our illusory go off 3 times and our pufferfish was on the right hand side and it was also attached to the jellyfish, so it's attached to the jellyfish. It's in between. We need that. We need another friend. Yeah, I'm not seeing the way to solve my puzzle here. That being said, no, our illusory is proccing our Saltclaw too, so I don't think I want to move things around. Okay. Let's look at our options. I don't know that we need any of these, so I guess I'll get a small shield item. Nesting doll, okay. B1, B2. Nice of you to join us. Sell this. If we get a boat, I'll keep that around. We'll sell the catfish. It'll enable us to find a better catfish. We could also visit this hero merchant. Maybe there'd be a dually who has a good friend for us to pick up. Yeah, that could be very good. We don't really need the illusory if we have the Sea Dog Saloon. The jellyfish is very good with the pufferfish. I'm willing to do that. Let's go there. Okay, no dually. Mac doesn't have any friends. Pygmalion, I don't think, has many friends that we could use. There's like the Washawali bird, which I guess does have a 2 times multicast with our Sea Dog Saloon. Mac could have a runic potion, which would be very good with our shield claw, but it would reduce our synergy. Still, I don't think has an item that we want. There are some very good potions for Mac. I think like the highest roll would be maybe like Ushawali bird. So I guess I'll look at Mac. Shiny bottled explosion. Not bad. Could get reagents. Start becoming Mac. I don't think we need to do that. Let's reroll. Crocodile tears. No. Yeah, I think we're good here. Okay. Good thought exercise at the very least. So it's coconut. Let's fight this Vanessa.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago. I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
Alright, what do they got? They have fiery cutlass. Okay, so 1 weapon build. They did freeze our saloon, which is not cool. And boat's taking some time to get up off the ground here, which is concerning. They put a lot of fire damage on us. Yikes. Okay. Oh man, we were so close to coming back. That freeze on our Sea Dog Saloon was pretty devastating. Okay. It is what it is. And yeah, we'll need to go to see some weapons here. Not these. There's a submarine. There's a shark ray. Shark ray is a lot like the old Saltclaw, but because this is also gains benefit from slow and is shielded, it's looking better to me than the shark ray right now. Let's make sure to sell these off. Okay, got dive weights. One interesting thing though is that, you know, with this skill, Paralyzing Rush, when we slow, we haste our weapons. But if we have two weapons, are we hasting enough to where they both be getting enough uptime? I'm willing to buy the shark ray to see how it works for us. Although it's not going to proc this enough to grow our shielded Saltclaw to the way that I'd want it to be. Yeah, talk myself out of it. And okay, well, let's look at some non-weapon items. There's a Yeti crab. Does Yeti crab do much for us? It is another friend. Wait, I'm also thinking, how much hasting are we generating? I don't think enough to where I'd want to take the amulet off the board. The Yeti crab would be very good with the pufferfish. This lucere. Could put it. Could then have it this. And then put it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna be exactly where I want it to be. Can go past it. Okay, pufferfish upgrade. I'll take it. Golden dock lines, also very good. Golden dock lines would be haste. You know, be 3. So yeah, maybe there is a board that we're building here because of this skill specifically. I think that there is a board where we can replace the Sea Dog Saloon because this dock lines is effectively 3 times, it's slowing 3 items, and so it's also going to be hasting. But I guess now I'm thinking about it, the Sea Dog Saloon is representing haste and slow, so it's doing just a ridiculous amount with this Paralyzing Rush. Okay, not good enough. And I think we can beat Death Knight Reaper. Let's see. I do have this Sapphire, which could prove to be annoying. But I think with the shield that we generate, we'll be good regardless. Yeah, our build is slower to get off the ground for sure, but once we do, we are just chugging along. Let's see, this had 151 crit chance, so the amulet's still in play. It's still what we want to do. Runic Axe, okay. Kids, we don't need to sell the dive weights. I will take freeze skills here. And this looks like the one we want. Sell that. I am thinking we should put this clamor back on board. I think it's going to get our build off the ground. That hurts to do because I think this crit on all of our things is very good. But I do think that the clamor is important. It might honestly just be this. Let's try this. Let's look at some small items. Not really what we're looking for. Ambergris could have been okay. Clamor upgrade. Yes, please. This is going to slow 3 items for 1 second now. So that'll get us up and running pretty nicely. Also, now I think we can do the thing I wanted to do. So this is going off every 3 seconds, but this will, yeah, be just a bit more slowing. And okay, take a small non-weapon item, pop snappers, and we can sell these. So taking the silencer off the board is not great, but I do feel that creating more slow will just get our build and our wheels turning on our build here. And yikes, this icy yellow mantis is a bit scary. So is their power drill. They're doing a lot of slowing on us. Okay. They're also freezing us a lot. Not good, not good. Yeah. We're a little too disruptive for us. Okay, well, we are now going to go get a random enchantment. Ooh, okay. Just seeing how these fights are going, maybe I'm putting damage on the Saltclaw, Sea Dog Saloon. Let's see real quick what that would look like. Let's take these modifiers off. Obsidian does 30 damage, so deal 150 damage. No. This doesn't feel like what I want to do, but I think I am going to put more damage, because we need to get these fights over with as quick as possible. And additionally, I think I'm going to do actually this. Oh wow, we got a gold illusory? Hold up. Man, they're not making this easy on me. Okay. I think we are strong with this. The builds that we faced the past 2 days have been obviously stronger. They got a good freeze on us that one time, which was not fun. Well, now we have these illusories. This does provide a lot of defense. I'm wondering if doing this sort of thing makes a lot of sense for us. We would be losing out on this pufferfish, doing a lot of poison damage. This is a tremendous amount of haste as well. Maybe it would also be... Okay, let's look at our shops before we try and break our brains. Go to the medium shop here. Could take a wanted poster. I am going to need to try and make up some ground from this position. So I will take it. Something I'm comfortable selling as well. And here's dock lines. So Sea Dog Saloon is providing 10 instances of haste, essentially, for our, or 10 procs for our Saltclaw, or old Saltclaw, and this hasting is also going to charge our jellyfish, which is going to create more. I'm just wondering if I should take the silencer off, put in the pufferfish, and put in dock lines. Because dock lines would also be creating 3 instances of haste every time it went off. And it's going to be doing a considerable amount of slow. Yeah, I'm willing to try that. We have a fight coming up, so I'm willing to do that. Do I sell the fishing rod? I said I'm not gonna sell the silencer. And I will sell the fishing rod, I believe. Because if our build's not looking good, I want to be able to come back for this and put it back in. So I'll sell the fishing rod, and we'll put the dock lines in play. And now we can maximize on these. Yeah, okay. We're going to be doing a ton of slowing. Again, maybe this silencer is seeing its final days here. Although now with double damage, it is probably what we want to do. Okay. Get the loot. Upgrade hammer. Wow, okay. So upgrading our saloon would be good. Upgrading our another illusory would be good. We don't really need that too much. If we go to Kina here, we're just going to be missing a chop. Island trigger. So I would like to get that, ideally. You know, I'm also seeing the clause, and you could put when you slow, you gain 5 regeneration, but I think being more offensive is better with having like this pufferfish in play. I don't want to use the upgrade hammer. If anything, I guess I would put it on the Sea Dog Saloon. But I'm trying to see if I even want that in play right now. Okay, we're selling the wanted poster.
Reward the peaceful, punish
And depth charge, catfish, yeti crab. Not so much. Yeah, we're not freezing a lot, so. And could get an ambergris, but I'm not going to. Okay. Frost Street Challenger is probably who I should be fighting. But I do want to just see how this build performs in an ideal scenario, so I'm going to fight the Trash Titan. And this will really inform me on if I want to keep the dock lines in, or if I would like to keep the Sea Dog Saloon in. Yeah, the instances of haste from the saloon look to be better than this.
Not even a battle? Maybe a skirmish.
Can I open my... Not yet. There we go. There we go. Sell these, sell these. I'll put this back in. Sell that. This goes off a little bit sooner. I do want the pufferfish in on my board. And to do that, taking the amulet off seems like very foolish. But the clamor will start off the pufferfish. I guess it's maybe this illusory. Seems okay. Okay. Okay, shielding yet again. Let's see. I wonder what the illusory does. How do I spell illusory? Illulu. Oh, I see, because this is not turned on. Shield 35, not great. And then the pufferfish, I believe, is going to shield 180. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. This could help bridge the gap. And diamond tier chocolates. Sell this. And sell these dog lines. Guess I'll go to Bargain just to see if we get something. No. No, okay. Could have sold that coconut and that illusory. That's fine. Playing a little fast, but I'm getting anxious. I want to be able to see how we perform in this fight. Up against a dually. They don't have any freeze. They do have a good amount of healing. And now our saloon's gone off. So we're really starting to go here. Overfish definitely shielding is helping us. Wow. Big swipe of the claw. So we're still a little fast to get moving, or a little slow to get moving, which is a concern. Maybe hunting for a gold tier skill to reduce our aquatic item cooldowns would be good. It seems like it'd be wise. So this... I did like having, I think, everything on board. The slow was very effective. And the clamor was very good. Also just the Sea Dog Saloon procking. I'm just trying to think if I want to put silencer back again. I think we're okay. And, you know, again, we could get 150 max HP. Shield items, we could find a shielded one of the items that we have on our board. I think that's a high enough roll that I'm willing to try and do it. Oh. When you slow, shield equal to 10 times this item's regeneration. I'm gonna take this. That's kind of crazy. I don't think there's any way to facilitate it, but it's gonna start giving us at least diamond items and loot. And diving helmet. No. Okay, upgrade an item. I am going to upgrade the Sea Dog Saloon. Now it's going to go off every 4 seconds instead of every 5 seconds. And let's get some max HP. I'm going to put, 10 shields on our pufferfish. Sounds good. Okay, Veteran Octopus it is. We only have one medium item, so this hyper focus would be very strong. Running. Things are looking good. Big claw. Skill, please. It's not a skill. Okay. Also wondering if we put this here just to get our jellyfish up and running a little sooner, but then that would take away one proc. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, some max health. And let's see if JJ has anything. I will take it. It is probably better than at least something on our board. Okay, let's look at diamond tier skills here. I'm hoping for aquatic. First time you fall below half health each fight. No, I don't. This is good, obviously, for proccing all of our things, but I'm not. We're reaching, I believe, internal cooldown of the haste triggers and the slow triggers on the old Saltclaw, scaling it, so it's kind of already maxed at that point. That being said, you know, this could proc our pufferfish another time, which is good, but I really want to fish for something even better. And that is even better. Quality over quantity. If you have exactly one weapon, has lifesteal and 10 crit. That's pretty good. And aerodrome seems like the thing to do. Let's see if we can maybe get a skill vendor, although that's a tempting one. We don't have like a ton of money, so I will just stop at Andy and see if we can get an upgrade. These are not upgrades. Pet rock. Okay. So again, the question to me is now again about the silencer versus this amulet. Crit chance is very good. Who are we facing, I guess? A Vanessa? Having as much crit chance as we can is very powerful. And if we were to do that, it would have to be... We're back to that kind of like same conundrum where we're losing out on our shielding just to facilitate, I guess, this Saray being in prime position. And if it's not in prime position, then it's going to be like this. Which I guess is okay. This, I think, going off 4.2 seconds, so every 2.1 seconds, because it's going to be perma-hasted, is very good compared to every 3 seconds. I mean, 1 second could make all the difference. We are generating a lot of haste. Let's remember to sell these. crit chance though on just how much damage this thing is getting could just end the game immediately. Yeah, okay. Let us go back to where we were. And this is fine. Yeah, this is a little slower to get off the ground, but we'll be more consistent once we're in the middle of the fights. Let's go. Let's do it.
I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms. Go ahead, underestimate me.
Okay, what do they got? A lot of damage, and they're destroying one thing. Yikes. Oh my god, they killed their pufferfish. Oh boy. Well, let's see if we can claw them. The lifesteal is gonna be what we need here. Looks like we got it. Definitely needed the quality over quantity. Man, that seems like Into the Void is bad for their board too, maybe, but I guess they have this Lang Shen that could really do some damage. Huh, okay. Scary, scary. But we get there. We now into day 12. Okay. Feeling pretty good about where we're at. A medium item. Maybe that's an upgrade to our pufferfish. That could be nice. Let's see it.
Welcome in, hon. What can I get you?
Sextant also good. I think that's okay. I don't want to say our board is optimal. There's certainly ways that we could upgrade it with different items, but I'm not seeing them so far. Aquatic items, don't want those. Coral armor, yeti crab, narwhal, no. I'm going a little fast here, but again, I kind of know what I'm looking for, and I have a pretty good gauge of like what is going to be better, I believe. I'm happy to be proven wrong if you have a suggestion here. I'd actually love to hear it, because kind of running into maybe a little lack of imagination how we could improve our board, but I do think we're pretty dang close to this build being where it needs to be. I think we'd be pivoting off of it and finding maybe like a different weapon to better it. And again, hoping to get hyper focus. Let's see what happens though. It's always the tiny cutlass. Okay. Let's get some loot. Okay. It's an interesting one. Trying to figure out where to put that. Let's look at some non-weapons before we do that. We've seen this golden yeti crab so many times. We even saw a diamond one. I don't think it's better though. It just keeps showing up. It says, maybe I'm the answer to all of your problems. Oh man, shipwreck. Shipwreck better than Sea Dog Saloon? So Sea Dog Saloon is providing 10 and instances of haste compared to Shipwreck, which would provide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this will go off even more. Shipwreck might be better here. It also makes her I think this is what I want to do. I think this is better. Because now all these go off twice. The problem is this itself was generating actual haste versus what we currently have here, which is the items have to generate hastes themselves for this to proc. I don't know if I'm willing to risk it as well right now. And what do we want to go off faster? It might just be the pufferfish. Well, we don't need to figure that out just yet. What? Bazaar Con. Let's go to Paul. If we get an upgrade to this, that could be really good. It's not an upgrade. Captain's Court is good too. Crow's Nest. Okay. So, here we are. Which is the best? If we're going for the shipwreck build, then I want the insect wing on the pufferfish. But if we are staying Sea Dog Saloon, I would want the insect wing on the Saltclaw. It's hard to know. The Sea Dog Saloon just really jumpstarts our whole build. And here we'd be waiting. I guess we'd do that, maybe. We might have to do this, because at the start of the fight, this is going to get hasted for 4 seconds, and then this is going to go off twice. I guess it's going to gain 4 iterations of haste, right? So this is going to then be 8 seconds, so 1 second on the pufferfish, and that's it, and then go off. Okay, I think this is better. And to facilitate more haste happening, actually, this is the most important thing to go off. So I think this is what we're doing. This may be stupid, but let's see how it turns out. And let's hope they don't have any freezing skills. They have slow. I don't see any freezing just yet. Oh well. Freezing and icy water. Okay. They're starting to come back here. They're doing a ton of slowing. And freezing now. Jesus, okay. Well, that is what it is. Let's take a look at their board real quick. So, you heal, charge your poison. So they were healing and then charging their green wasp. Now this icy water cooler. Freeze one small item for 1 second. Use adjacent friends. Charge this. Well, this went off 22 times. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. Once they started going, they were just going versus us. We didn't quite hit the loop. Let's play that again. So we go off, but we don't have this hasting uptime, I think because of their slow, to facilitate our build. Yeah, in that case, it would have been better to have the Sea Dog Saloon on board, but I don't think that's necessarily always the case. But I suppose at these later days we should assume that our opponents have some way to interact with our board, so yeah, probably a mistake there. Anyway, you live, you learn. Trying out new items, trying out new builds feels pretty good. And with that, I appreciate you watching this video and sticking around for this. We are going to be exploring many of the new items for Vanessa and Dooley here in this coming week. So I'm excited to share those with you here soon. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful night.